No. Thank God you realised. Bro, you were literally just mentioning it, man.
Guys, I made a mistake, okay? We were rolling for about 5 minutes, and luckily I've got Vishnu here to tell me that I did not press record.
But thank God it's only 5 minutes.
Yes.
If not, we would have completed 1 hour without any recording.
Yes, so once again, thank God Vishnu is here.
Relax. Eat more muruku and relax.
Yes, okay.
Okay. You want water? You okay?
Special guest, we've got Syed Saddiq in the house today.
Thank you very much.
YD Syed Saddiq.
Saddiq will do.
You know what I saw that was... It might be a stupid joke lah, but I thought it was damn funny. You know Wabikong TV, right?
Yep.
Syed, he did what's the opposite of Saddiq?
Which is?
Happy Dick. I thought that was funny lah, dude. Yeah.
Sai being Sai is...
He gets the views, so he knows what he's doing.
He's smart. He's actually a really smart guy. To get the views, you need to be consistent, you need to be innovative.
Since we're on the topic of... Are you the most popular apart from... How many followers does KJ have?
Quite a lot.
I know you're just under 2 million.
Yep. That's for Instagram. Yeah.
Do you by any chance follow Joe Rogan podcast?
I do.
You do?
I mean,
I mean not religiously. Oh, 1.3. Okay. Yeah. So
I don't follow every single one of the episodes, but
yeah. So you know how he's so lucky to have Jamie, right?
Yep.
Super helpful during the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're actually the most popular on social media.
Yeah.
Right.
I try my best to use it for the greater good.
Yes, I can tell.
You know, besides sharing about cats, sports, good food, I try to use it for the greater good.
Yeah, speaking of sports, right? So you turn your sort of hobby into a way for you to actually raise funds as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Raise funds so that you can continue to work and do work for the people.
Yeah, I think a lot of people actually don't know that when you are in opposition, you are deprived of parliamentary allocations. And parliamentary allocations are not just for welfare assistance. It also means that you need to find your own funds to open up your service centre, to hire your staff, pay your staff, utilities, etc. And instead of just complaining, this government is unfair, no allocations, I think it's time for me to put words into action. And that's where, it was actually quite random. Jack is here. I mean, it took us like just a few days of planning. And we're like, literally, let's just do it, right? I mean, if people do not support, people don't support. People support, that's great. But we need to do it.
Referring to Langkah Muar, right?
Correct, yeah. And I mean, up until the final 2 days, only then did we finalize the route. Because you can't take the highways. So you have to use the Jalan Dalam, So from Muar, and then we went to Melaka. Melaka, there are a few checkpoints from, Aikaro, Alogajah. After that, we reached Negeri Sembilan, Rembau, Seremban. And we all had to use the inner roads to ensure that we were safe. So yeah, not a lot of planning, but a lot of willpower. And at the same time, we were quite privileged because halfway in, to be honest, I didn't expect for the public to be remarkably supportive, not just in terms of the donations, but at the same time, in Melaka, man, when I was running, there were so many people cheering. I was quite shocked. And this were at night, people waiting in front of their houses to give me food, drinks, water, chocolates, while I was running throughout the route.
I saw that as well. You posted on your videos. A lot of people came up to support and hand you some goodies.
Yeah.
How did they know that you were going to be passing by around that time? Did you post your route like in detail, which kampong or whatever routes?
Not from like in detail to kampong, but usually I'll post like, okay, I've completed 56 kilometers and now I'll be starting, let's say just randomly, I'll be running from Rembau to Seremban.
Yeah.
And there's one route. This is not the highway route, so there's only actually one route you'll use. So people will know from that. But 2, I think the most effective one is actually when I did live. So I did live on like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok in particular. TikTok is very effective because every time I do live, there were more than 10,000 people viewing in, following for hours. So when the TikTok phone, we have a TikTok phone, when the battery dies, then we shift to Facebook, and people followed. When Facebook dies, we shift to X, and people were following. And I think that's where they got the information from. Because I asked, like some of them will stop me like, how long have you been waiting? They say, we've been waiting for about 30 minutes, but we knew that you'll come here because we were following your TikTok.
Okay.
I'm like, man, the level of discipline put in to really follow is amazing. And it's really a humbling experience, right? Whenever I feel that my legs are cramping up, I feel remarkably tired, feel like just giving up. But these are average Malaysians who are just waiting, giving support. There were many parts of the routes which I took up where people were waiting by the side of the street to give money. And every time I get, I'll immediately pass it to Jack and ask him to register it, so that it's all accounted for. And these are people who are not rich. I mean, these are people on motorbikes.
Yeah.
Right? And even when I look at the quality of the motorbike, I thought, wow, the fact that this person can donate 50 ringgit is unbelievable. This person may not even step foot in Muar, or most likely have absolutely no relatives in Muar, but would still want to contribute to help the underprivileged in Muar. And to me, that's the beauty of Malaysia.
Oh, bro, it's definitely something that it makes me feel shameful that I'll be honest. I did not contribute, but those people that they're from really lesser backgrounds, economic backgrounds, and they just wanted to help.
Yeah, exactly.
So in case people didn't know, it took 4 days.
4 days, yeah.
So I'm interested to know, right, bro? You can't be running for 4 days straight.
110%.
How many hours a day and on average how many kilometers?
On this, I actually strategized it very well. I mean, I don't have a sports scientist to break it down for me, but that's the beauty of ChatGPT.
Yeah.
No, I kid you not. I mean, you can ask Jack.
Yeah.
So I literally, and I'm a subscriber of ChatGPT, not just, the free version,
Yeah.
So actually when I said, as a sports scientist, I want to complete this run, and I even like key in the routes, right? From this location to this location, and in 4 days, what's the I'm a average athlete. No, I'm not like super fit, but I'm decently fit.
Yeah.
Right, I used to run a lot. I even put it, my VO2 max is like then my VO2 max before I started was like 49.4, which is quite okay. And then I keyed everything in, So what's the suggested breakdown? So then the suggested breakdown was, because if you just ran all the time, you will definitely be injured. And you finish early, but in the end, your body will be gone.
Like some David Goggins shit, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I can't do that. Like that's non-stop. So I started on Friday morning, ended on Monday. So the plan is to divide every day into 2 sessions. It starts in the morning at about 6 to 7 a.m. and will end at about 10 to 11 a.m. depending on how hot the sun is. The point where it gets really hot, stop. So in that 4 to 5 hours, the aim is to cover about 20 to 30 kilometers.
Can I ask what is the pace that you're going at?
Very slow. At about 7 to 8:30.
That is not exactly
that's very slow.
Very slow.
I mean, it's very slow. My race pace is like 5 to 6.
Of course.
So the point is, I don't want to stress my legs so much. So that's about 4 to 5 hours in the morning. And then after that, you stop, have a proper lunch, proper sleep. So that means so because I'll finish about 10, 11, lunch, sleep, ice bath, immediate ice bath.
Immediate ice bath.
Yeah, you have to.
The portable one, is it?
No, I have the small swimming pool. We got zero.
A portable swimming pool? Or?
Yeah, I mean the very small, budak swimming pool.
Yeah, you wear the float also when you're doing it.
Very, very low budget lah.
Yeah,
so I just but 2 ice baths, and then rest, sleep, wake up, start again at about 5:30, and then end at about 10 o'clock at night.
Sorry, can I ask about the ice bath? So you said 2 ice bath. Yeah. What do you mean? Like you jump in 2 times?
No, so remember we have 2 sessions, one in the morning, one in the evening. So after the morning session, first ice bath, nighttime another ice bath.
How long would you be per session in the
ice bath? No, very short. It's like 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Okay, I've actually never tried it. I just recently bought the portable one.
Must be expensive, right? Portable one.
It's actually a gift from a friend. I don't know. Yeah. So a birthday gift.
Oh, okay. Very scared to say from girlfriend. Okay. Okay, my friend, very scared to say.
I've never gotten a gift from a guy lah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, because I hear elite athletes all talk wonders about it. Is it literally like
it helps a lot? Because
immediate also the effect.
Because for me, my problem is not my heart rate throughout was very low because I'm running at a very slow pace. So I wasn't panting. I didn't feel tired in terms of my cardiovascular side. But during the second day, when I entered the 4th session, which is night time, second day, even though my heart rate was very low, but my legs, my joints felt so painful because it's compounding, it's been compounding. So at that point in time, I already realized my knees were failing me. It's not that, I mean, I know I'm fresh. My body is fresh. I've slept. I've rested. I've had really good food. I take a lot of carbs, proper protein. Yeah. So I'm fine. But whenever I want to run, I feel like, oh my God, I'm putting so much stress on specific joints. And these joints have never taken this amount of stress in such a short time frame.
Yeah.
So I think that's where ice bath helps. Taking, what is it? What do you call that? Pain relaxants. Muscle relaxants help. These pills. And then really taking care of my diet. I really took care of my diet properly. Every 30 minutes, I refilled properly. I have the proper carbs, protein, every 30 minutes. And then when I say in the morning, I broke it up into 2 sessions,
Sorry,
right?
every 30 minutes during your run?
Yeah, during my run.
Okay.
So every 30 minutes, I have to take either gel or a bar, proper sports bar or gel. Thanks to my friends from Hammer Nutrition. So it's proper.
Sponsors.
Yeah, I mean they really helped out lah. Yeah, I mean and it's not easy, to get it. But I mean, so that made it a lot more manageable. But above and beyond that, besides breaking it down into 2 segments, every 10 kilometers I also stop as well for about 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
Stretching, relax, and then go again.
I mean, bro, you're being smart about it lah, because you know that you're doing about 50 a day, 50 plus km per day, right?
First day, I remember, where did I end up during first day? Allocations. And I remember first day we covered close to 60 kilometers. The second day, we ended in, mana kita tidur second day? Second day Negeri Sembilan already, Seremban. Yeah.
Have you ever done 60 km in a day?
Yes.
You have?
Yeah, that was the ultra. Oh no, that was 54 kilometers. But that was like non-stop for like 7 hours non-stop. But man, that one was crazy because it was like, whenever you join an ultra, it's not just a normal marathon. The uphills, the hills are unbelievable. And I remember my first ultra was UiTM Ultra, which was non-stop 54 kilometers with 10 different crazy hills, Bukit Tonggit, plus another 20 slightly more manageable hills. Oh my god, I never hated more hills after going through it. But after that, I fell in love with long distance run.
Yeah, okay, bro. Even my friends that are all into running also, they also asked me to ask you about this.
Sure.
So, yeah, when did you actually start getting into running, man?
Properly,
properly,
like consistently every single day.
Yeah. Oh, you run every single day?
Yeah. I mean, I have a trainer who helps me out, coming up with a schedule like a proper trainer, who's a really great guy in triathlon. His name is Edwin, from RC Coaching. So when I do swimming, cycling, running, so you try your best to include these 3 and break it down in 1 week. So let's say you can't try not to run every single day, especially at race pace, because then you may injure yourself. But then next day you recover by swimming or by cycling. And then during weekends, you have to do your long runs and your long bikes. So long runs must be 20-30 kilometers, and your long bikes must be about like 100 kilometers. So you try your best to get in the mileage.
I just think it's crazy that you did Desaru 113, and then how many days later you did the AIA score run?
Yeah,
about
1 week. Yeah, so full marathon. Yeah, but I have time to rest. I mean, people think that it's like 1 day. It's like 5 days. Yeah, and that 5 days you don't stop and do nothing. You actually, it's called tapering down. So like you slowly build back the momentum, and then I went through like, I don't know what you call this, sports massage or sports therapy, whatever, which was remarkably painful. So those things help. But usually after 2-3 days of proper rest,
you feel 100%.
I mean, I started training. I mean, I was asked to rest for 3 days after my full marathon.
Yeah.
But I mean, after like 1 day of resting, I was already restless.
So you ran this morning?
I've been running, been cycling, I've been swimming.
But what about your right knee?
I got it checked already. So I realized it's actually, my fear is that it's like permanent injury, because it's the same knee. When I was running to Cheras, from where did I run it? From Branang to Cheras, that was like during the third day, second session, so it was at night. Again, I was very fresh. Like my heart rate was really low. It's like 120, 140, which is like practically me just speed walking. So I don't feel tired. My right leg was fresh. Like I could run. But my left leg was okay. My right knee, it was like almost immobile. Like, so it was so painful. Every time I stepped, it was so painful. So it was already then. The same pain came about again during my full marathon. But it only came about during the final 3 kilometers, which is so frustrating, I was running really fast, so comfortable. I didn't feel super tired. I thought I could finish strong, in 4 hours. And then this thing came about, bloody hell, and then it really caused a lot of injuries. So I thought it was something permanent. But then I realized in the end, especially your knee, you feel that the injury is at your knee, but actually what contributes to it is a very weak hip. At least that's what I was told by my doctor. Yeah. So my hip is very weak. So since then, every single day I've been doing a lot of mobility exercise, which has been helping.
I would assume that the first thing the doctor tells you, right, when you go there and you've got a really bad knee, right, they will say that you need to take proper time off.
Well, when you have, I mean, this is a proper sports science expert, I mean, you cannot just completely just like just stop, you know. And I won't feel comfortable to just completely stop as well, and because my aim is that by October I want to do the full Ironman, and that's what, more than 200 kilometers in like 16-18 hours, non-stop.
200 kilometers. Are we talking about running plus cycling plus swimming, or
all three? So it's about 4 kilometers of swimming in open sea, and then 180 kilometers of cycling, and then a full marathon after 42 kilometers.
You're talking 2 times the Desaru.
Correct. Yes, correct. So it's that's half distance. This one is full, and you have to complete it in 16-17 hours. Yeah. So it's crazy. So you cannot just like, I'm just gonna walk and relax. I'm gonna take my time. No, you have to rush. So to do that, I cannot just like rest for like one whole week.
Yeah.
At the same, I don't think you need to rest for one whole week. So it's just about tapering it. Like transitioning back to race pace.
Yeah, you are super driven with running, but bro. So let's talk about Langkah Muar, right? You managed to successfully raise 180 grand, right? Congrats on that. That's
Thank
amazing. You. Even KJ was talking on his podcast. He was shocked, man. He didn't expect that a run to the parliament would garner that much money, that much donations from the people. Do you have any plans yet?
We've already announced. I mean, one thing I want to make super transparent. In the end, the total amount is what 178,000, somewhere around that.
Yeah.
We announced the exact amount, and it didn't come from like big donors. I saw some people commenting, this must be Saddiq cuci duit, I'm like, bloody hell. We showed it, they're like, more than 5,600, 5,000 something donors. Yeah, so these are from small donors. And at the same time, from the beginning, we already set 3 objectives. We're going to raise the money for A, to ensure that we can pay for our service centre and the salaries of our staff. 2 is to buy laptops and tablets for the underprivileged, and 3 is to buy basic necessities. These basic necessities are food baskets, susu, pampers, all those kind of things for those who are really affected more. So now we spend how much? Like about 16,000 plus, and we even detailed out. So my plan is every time we spend, we announce, so that in the end people know where we're at. So I think we haven't spent even 20,000 yet.
So you plan on doing the full Ironman, right? This is in October.
Yeah.
Are you going to do a similar effort in raising funds?
I've tried. I've done so many things. People only saw this Langkah Muar. People forget that like in 2020, 2021, I went bald. I did this Thunderbolt challenge, and I taught tuition online. More than 2,000 students joined via Zoom. They paid 200 ringgit for 5 sessions, and then I became like a Shopee seller.
The live seller.
Properly to sell kurta, and then we made like close to 100,000 ringgit. Yeah, and I went on like the main Shopee Central at like Mid Valley. People say, apa lah, why are you doing it? So I'll do whatever it takes to raise funds for my constituents. It's that simple. I sold lasagna, so many different things. But being young, we need to dare to think out of the box and to be innovative. Because I don't want to just be someone in parliament to just say, okay, the government is unfair, it's unjust, this is wrong, and then go back home and relax while my constituents are suffering, right? So I need to think out of the box to ensure that while funds are being deprived, I don't just keep quiet. I owe a moral duty to help my constituents even when there is a deprivation of funds. And that's where, being young, I have to be innovative and find different ways to raise funds for my constituents.
I'm not sure if you... this was before we pressed re-record. Remember just now you were explaining about how the opposition and the... Was this before the...
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so...
Which was not recorded.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so I'll touch on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just now you were mentioning as well, I think what people don't realize, right? Okay, maybe... I certainly had no clue that... So you've got opposition politicians and you've got politicians working in the government.
Correct.
Both have the same goals in mind. They have to help the people. They want to help the people. One is given a comfortable amount of funds.
Huge. 20 million in one term, and the other is giving 0 ringgit.
Yeah, to put it in perspective. So you've got opposition politicians now, right? Okay, who are fighting for people, and also they want to get the support of the people. Yeah. How do you get the support of people? You help them out. Yeah. How do you help them out when you have 0? So now I can see very clearly that you are always active in finding ways to fund your work, right? I don't see nearly the same amount of effort from other opposition parties. So I'm wondering also, like, how do they get by? That's one question. Yeah, maybe you can speak more about that.
I can't speak on behalf of others, but if anyone thinks I have some miraculous sugar daddy or billionaire who's funding me. I don't. I really don't. I mean, I remember whenever I want to do this, like, get lah this tune to fund you. Get this tune, this tune. I'm like, come on, man, show me where the sugar daddies are, sugar mummies are. I mean, sorry for using these terms, but I think you get the point. It's like the so-called patron, I don't. So as a consequence, I have to do all of this, right? And it is a continuous process, not once a year. I have to do 4 or 5 different ones every year. And, it's taken up so much of my time. People ask like, why don't you just be in Muar? Okay, I can be in Muar. People come to my office every day asking for support and assistance. So what, you want me to just say, oh, sorry, I don't have allocation because the government is unfair? I mean, I don't want to just do that. So instead, I mean, if you know the amount of letters I've written to NGOs, NGIs, to corporates, to different foundations, seeking for help. They don't even have to give it to me. But like, I give them a list of the names who are affected, but please help them. So I have to spend so much time to do this because the fact of the matter is today, a government MP gets 20 million and an opposition MP gets 0.
Can you break down? Okay, so what do you actually mean by 20 million? So let's say...
Let me break it down. Quite a number of people ask that. So in one term, you have 5 years, right? So each term, a government MP gets about 4 million. Some get 4.5 million. If you are from Sabah, Sarawak, you get more. Because it's obviously much harder to move from one area to another.
The areas are bigger.
Yeah,
is that
correct. So I think Sabah Sarawak MPs in government get about 500,000 ringgit more. But I mean, that's deserving. Actually, Sabah Sarawak should get a lot more.
Okay.
I mean, it's no joke, man. Over here, we have electricity, water over there. In some areas, rural areas, I mean, for example, Kinabatangan is as big, almost as big as Pahang. 1 seat. So, yeah, I mean, so they definitely deserve it lah. Okay, that side. So if you're in government, start off, immediately you get 300,000 ringgit a year for your service centre. To rent your service centre, utilities, pay staff, blah, blah, blah.
That's crazy, bro.
Okay, opposition again 0. And then you get about 1.5 million a year for outright grants. This is for you to give up to NGOs, NGIs, to do programs, etc. And then you get another, I think about 2 million for projects. This is to like to upgrade homes, houses, to repair dilapidated houses, etc. So like these are like small projects. And then I think there's like one more. So in total, that's about 4 million a year. And then you times 5 for one whole term. That's 20 million ringgit.
And this is just for each
MP.
One MP.
Only one.
But the thing is also, again, like what you pointed out with Sarawak, Kinabatangan is a huge area. Same thing would be for Semenanjung, Malaysia as well. Some areas are bigger, some areas are smaller. But somehow it's all 20 million.
Correct, yeah. Because at the same time, some areas are bigger, but maybe that bigger area is also quite urban. Yeah, in comparison to, let's say, just randomly taking a place, let's say in Sik Kedah, right? So it's smaller in terms of voter population, but there are a lot of underprivileged people who require help and assistance. So it's not fair to just look at numbers. So it's important to look at the socio-economic status of that parliamentary seat.
Yeah, so to summarize, right, as an opposition politician, you have to work to be able to work for the people.
Correct.
Right? Double the trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay. I mean, I think that builds a certain sense of resilience because for me, it's not new. I mean, from 2020, I mean, people say I'm quite, for lack of a better word, dumb in politics. Sorry.
Bro, okay, sorry to cut you off, but you still pay attention to like all these comments. I would assume that this is something that you are sort of immune to already because, you have to be really mentally strong up there already.
I mean, but to me it's good because I wouldn't say I want to normalize the hatred, but to some extent it makes me a better person. Because then I can compartmentalize. I know those who just want to attack for the sake of attacking. I know those who genuinely care, who are giving constructive criticism, and those who are giving genuine support. So I cannot just like, masuk tinggal kiri, keluar tinggal kanan and just ignore. No, I actually read the attacks and criticism and try to understand where it is coming from. But I don't take it personally. That's very clear. Because, for an example, when I say, people tell me I'm not that good in politics. Because usually, the common practice in Malaysian politics, when you are in government, you stay in government. You don't move to opposition. What happens is when you are in opposition, you jump. You jump to government because you get a lot. You get posts. This is just the 20 million. It's just for your constituency. Then you get appointed into agencies, GLCs, then you get offers, ministries, and then you get 2 or 3 different pensions. You get so many different compounding incomes. You are only looking, for example, government MP getting 25,000 ringgit. No, it doesn't stop there. This government MP will most likely be appointed on 2 different boards. This government MP will most likely have a chairmanship somewhere which get paid 20,000 ringgit a month. Plus minus at 50, 60,000. This person most likely will have 2 or 3 different pensions. You know how unfair and crazy it is? You know, this big guy? For me, 3 times I'm from government, I moved to opposition out of my own conscience. One, prior to 2018, I was working for different ministers and chief ministers. First time, I moved to opposition. I thought what happened then through 1MDB was wrong, and I had to speak up. Then in 2020, when Sheraton happened, that was from my own party. I disagreed. I principally disagree on that very move, right? And then I was sacked by my party, the party then which I helped co-founded from nothing. But it's okay, right? I think I took that principal move, and then I lost all these allocations, my ministerial position, etc. And at that time again, I was in government. I thought what the government did, especially via dropping of multiple criminal charges which are worth hundreds of millions, were wrong.
Yeah, the Zahid case. So.
Yeah, and then I moved to opposition. People said, why? Because usually at the very same time, there were so many MPs from opposition who moved to government. And they got taken care of quite well.
Okay, another thing also that people should understand that this is not common practice in every country, whereby oppositions get nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
In most Western countries or more developed countries, the opposition get...
Equal.
Is it? Oh, equal. I
Equal.
was about to ask about that.
It's equal. Even in Thailand. I mean, Thailand has gone through so many military juntas, right? I mean, but even in Thailand, my friends are telling me, I mean, we have a lot of friends from Future Forward, Move Forward Party, a lot of young guys, very credible, talented. But even they have funds to open up their office, to service their constituency, etc. Can you imagine a country like Malaysia, which has so much hope, dream and potential, mistreating opposition constituents? And, you know, it's not about punishing me as an MP. Yeah. I'm not affected. I still get my salary. The ones who are affected are the voters.
Yes.
Especially voters who are underprivileged. Can you imagine? Previously, I could help, let's say, someone's very old, who requires a wheelchair, who requires some financial support so that he can buy his susu formula. Susu formula is like the food for this person every day. Now this person is deprived of the opportunity because of an injustice. So I mean, you're not punishing me. You are punishing people who are innocent. Yeah. So that's why, I mean, I've suggested towards government, because, you know, one thing which I've learned, government changes many times. I mean, even the opposition today, back then, when they were in government, had the opportunity to bring this change. So my suggestion today, instead of waiting for you to fall down and then regretting that you didn't do this because now you'll be treated the same way how you treated the opposition, bring the change now.
So what is the obstacles in making this change happen? Because if you were to also allocate, I'm not sure. Were you pushing for an equal amount for the opposition, or you pushing
equal
for
amount? And I think it should be institutionalized under the parliament, so that whoever becomes the prime minister, whichever party or coalition wins, fairness is guaranteed. Similarly, how when you constitutionalize something, is guaranteed. So put it under parliament so that it's fair.
So in equal amount, but of course I would assume that the amount would have to be lower for each side, because the budget itself also would have to double if that was the case.
Do you know now, at the moment, actually,
yes,
the budget is there. The budget is there, but it's just parked under the Prime Minister's office to be used at his or her discretion. So it's not that you are creating a new budget. It doesn't mean that taxpayers are being taxed more. No. The budget is there. It's just purely up to the discretion of the Prime Minister.
Okay, so perhaps he wants to use it for other things.
Other things, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This is the recent hot one, Desaru 113.
Sure.
Yeah. So what happened was we've got was it the running first or swimming first?
In triathlon and swimming first.
Yes.
So that one the swim was slightly longer, it's about 2.25 kilometers. And then comes cycling. This is half distance, so it's 90 kilometers. And then comes a half marathon after 21 kilometers.
Yeah, so the controversial happened during the
cycling.
Second part, the cycling. There was 3 laps that you were supposed to take, right, for that route. Okay, cycling, there were 3 laps. I think the running and swimming also, you have to make a couple of loops.
Yes, running was about, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 loops. I can't remember. 3 loops because it was long. Yeah, 7 kilometers each. Swimming was, 3 loops. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you fix your Apple Watch yet, bro?
Yeah. So if you notice, I'm not using my Apple Watch anymore. To be honest, I really want to use my Sunto then, but then because after my long Muar Parliament run, my Sunto was overwhelmed. I couldn't upload the data at first. I had to reset, reboot,
what
and then
are
upload.
you using right now, bro?
Sunto.
Okay.
Sunto is really good.
Yeah,
I mean, the battery is really good. Problem with my Apple Watch is, and this is quite common, immediately once I get into the water, for example, it just registered only did 50 meters. I mean, I did bloody 2,250 meters of swimming.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of problem there.
Yeah. But it successfully recorded the other events properly.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, so, controversial was the first lap that you took during the cycling
was shorter.
Was maybe a quarter only of the
So let me briefly explain where the mistake happened. So swimming, everything was fine because swimming, I mean, it's very specific, everyone can see lah. And it's just like literally just taking a circle. When you transition on the bike, there are actually many categories. People only look at 113. Actually, there's the super sprint, which is one category, which is slightly shorter. Then there's the sprint, and then there's the Olympic distance, and then there's 113. And everyone will do the triathlon, but will be taking different routes. So I think when I got on the bike, the first turn I took was the Olympic distance instead of the 113. And then the second and third turn were the proper turn, which was the 113 turn. But there were so many bikes coming out at the same time, that's where the confusion happens. Because it's not just me, and there were many different distances. But just to be careful, and I'll never forget this, just to be careful, I even checked with the technical team, you know. I'll never forget, and remember it was technical team 1, there were 2 guys on motorbikes. I asked and I used this very specific sentence, saya tak mau tipu, tolong check. And that's when no one told me that anything was wrong. I thought, okay, I was cleared, it was fine. Because my worry then is that there was a genuine mistake and it's better for me to correct it. I didn't correct it after. It was during the race. I checked. So I thought, okay, everything's okay. And then after the race, everything was okay. Even after I checked again. So I thought, okay, then everything is in order. Only when after, then people start to raise doubts. Then I checked again with the organizer. Actually, contact the organizer. Can you please recheck?
Is this after you stepped on the podium or
before I stepped on the podium? Already checked with technical team 1. Can you imagine during the race?
Yeah. So people, I think maybe people didn't, because they see what people see online is you stepping on the podium and then they think, Syed is happy, he got his placing, and then after that only they saw the controversy. What they didn't realize is you already knew that something was weird multiple times during the event.
I checked before. So usually whenever there's a race and you suspect that something is amiss, you can check with the technical team. I didn't check it like after the podium or during the podium. I checked it before. Yeah, and I remember it was technical team 1, and this is something which I raised up as well.
Now that you are the status has been changed to did not finish, I'm not sure about this, but did the other person manage to, like the 4th place position, did he get his medal?
Yes, I personally contacted him. He was a Singaporean. I personally contacted him, apologized. The organizer also reached out to him, explaining what happened, and sent back the medal.
Okay. Yeah, that's great.
It's been mailed back, right, Jack? The medal has been mailed back, right? Yeah. I just got the address. It's in Singapore. If I could, actually would want to fly over to see him personally.
Yeah.
But so I think the least I could do is to send back the medal.
Okay. Yeah. Great. I mean, bro, I see the comments also. I see the listener questions asking me also. The question sort of like, you've betrayed your followers, or was it worth it? You know, for the bigger picture, saying stuff like that. What I can.
Sorry, which one is it about the 113? Or is it about something else?
No, bro.
Okay.
You're talking about 113, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what I think is, I'm not there because you say that you checked a couple of times, and then of course people will think that, there's no video of you saying that you checked a couple of times.
I did. I actually made a video about it.
No, I mean a video of you.
Okay. Yeah. Why would I want to record checking myself during the race? You're not even supposed to record things during the race.
Yeah. So what I want to say is, I will take it as I don't know. Yeah. But I give it. The truth is I don't know, but I'll give the benefit of the doubt. All the explanations that you have given. Yeah. For me to actually know for 100% sure, I have to be there at the moment when that happened. But I don't know. But you know, people, when you see in the comments, they're straight to think, ha, cheater again. You know, blah blah blah, all that shit lah.
But I mean, especially as a policymaker, I cannot take things personally, right? I mean, I try to understand where the anger is coming from. At the same time, I try to respond. I explain, not just me. Confirmed by the organisers, not just by organisers, but by the Malaysian Triathlon Society, that it was an honest mistake. And even after explaining, if they are still dissatisfied, I think I have to respect that. But at the same time, I owe a moral duty to explain as to what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, my summary of this is, if I really, really wanted to cheat, firstly, for voluntary, there's no cash prize, there's nothing. I went there for training, proper training. The number of participants is not that big. And at the same time, if I wanted to cheat, I would have just kept quiet throughout. I wouldn't even notify the technical team.
Yeah.
I mean, why would I be doing that? What more during the race? People say if you want to cheat, you most likely do it after, right? Like, you get on the podium only when people realize, then you panic, you notify. No, that was during the race. It was during the race. However, while explaining all of this, if there are still some coaches who are unhappy, I understand. I mean, maybe they've been training all this while, and this is a sport which is very close to their heart. It is close to mine as well. And to be honest, for me, I do this for my own mental health. I mean, I don't plan to win the Ironman. I plan to finish it. And I've become a much better person since I engage in this sport. Because I feel fitter, happier, healthier, mentally and physically. So I mean, in the end, I always remind myself why I do it. And if there are specific quarters who are unhappy, I respect that.
Also, to be honest, when I saw the headlines, this before I did research for this podcast, I saw the headlines also. I immediately thought like, oh damn, did he really do that? And then when I saw your statement, which was a few days 4 or 5 days after the initial race, I thought, okay, your statement seems solid. With all the proof and all.
Thanks.
Okay, come, let's go to the next. Bro. Maybe you can briefly summarize. I know this question is very. You've probably answered this millions of times, but I myself, I've never heard it. Why did you actually get into politics, bro? Because and was it always like you followed politics from a young age? Was it something you're always obsessed about?
Definitely not something which I obsessed about, which I aimed. I mean, when I was a kid, whenever you're at school, your teachers will ask what you want to be. I'm the most indecisive person. I remember in primary school, I said I wanted to be a singer. I cannot sing at all. I said I wanted to be an astronaut. At that point in time, there was this hype, Malaysia sending a first astronaut to space. I wanted to be an astronaut, and I wanted to be a teacher. That's something which is continuous. I wanted to be an educator, a teacher, lecturer, etc. And I wanted to be a soldier. I wanted to follow my granddad's footstep, and that's why I enrolled myself in the Royal Military College, RMC, because my granddad was a naval officer. So there were many, many, many different things. Politics was not at the top of my mind. However, when I got into university, then I I did a lot of debating.
Where did you do your uni? Sorry.
I did my law school in the International Islamic University of Malaysia before I furthered my studies.
Where was this located?
Gombak. Yeah. So then I got into debating. And then when I got into debating, then I got very competitive. And one thing about me is I may not be the best at the beginning, but I have the willpower and I work remarkably hard to achieve that end. So when I first started, my English wasn't the best. My general knowledge was horrendous.
Your English wasn't the best?
No. I mean...
Is this your first language, is it? Or would you say you've always been as fluent in BM and English?
Initially, it was BM first, English second.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, so much so that during my UPSR, I got all A's except for my English.
Bro, I didn't know.
And my mom is an English teacher, can you imagine? My mom taught everyone and their students get A's and I don't.
It's like this disappointment.
Yeah, correct. And I was a disappointment to myself. But never mind, that's a pass. The pass is the pass. And then when I got into debating, in order for me to conquer the world, I knew I had to work 10 times harder than others, because you're going up against Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, who are people who are super well read. Their command over the English language is the best. And that made me an avid reader, because in debating, you're given a topic 15 minutes before you go up to speak, and these topics are highly complex. From global politics to economic topics, social issues. So you need to be a walking Wikipedia in order for you to win. And that made me fall in love with debating. However, when I fell in love with debating, I started reading a lot, arguing a lot. Then I realized, am I just going to argue in the confinement of a debate room on policies which I believe in? Or do I expand it outside, translating into actual policies in Malaysia? And then that was the point in time where I fell in love with policy making, but not politics. Big difference. Policy making. Why I say policy making? I thought, okay, then I want to be an academician. I want to be a lecturer, because I was one of the youngest lecturers then in my university. I was teaching debating and public speaking. Then I was also teaching in Qatar, in many different countries. So it was a very good life. In policy making, I was then a researcher for one of the think tanks which advised the Chief Minister of Johor. Also an officer to one of the ministers in the Prime Minister office. So I thought, okay, this is a really nice balance. I can talk on national policies, politics, advice behind closed doors. I don't need to be in front. And at the same time, I can also pursue my passion, which is teaching. So to me, that was the balance of politics. However, what trusted me in, it was actually quite, I would say tragic, but it was unplanned. One day I was, when 1MDB happened, I was also in the Prime Minister's office then. And I knew what was going on. It was just blatantly wrong. So I actually wrote a very simple social media posting. It wasn't even, I had no connection then to Tun Dr. Mahathir, to Tan Sri Muhyiddin, to the opposition, none. It was just through a social media posting where I give suggestions on what I believe the government should do. A complete audit, above and beyond that, institutional reforms which should be put in, should be the mistake, will not be continued, etc., etc. And then that post went viral. The media picked it up, and within the media, it was quite naughty. They put the 3 times best speaker of Asia said that this should be done. So immediately after that, I lost my job as a part-time lecturer. I could no longer teach in any local universities or schools, because then I was teaching a lot of schools. Then I stopped working in the Prime Minister's office. I could no longer work as a researcher. So I lost almost all incomes except for my incomes abroad. So that to me was a wake-up call. If something like this could happen to me, and I was really just giving suggestions. It's not like from a bad place, Just as a patriotic Malaysian, if this could happen to me, it could happen to anyone else. And that really was my wake-up call. And then from that time onwards, I'm set. Politics is the epicenter of change. It can be for good, it can be for bad. But power lies in politics. If you don't have good people who are daring enough, with strong willpower and an iron in them to change politics, then in the end, you're just ceding power to those who may be corrupt, unethical, and who will regress our country. So I took up that national calling, and I'm proudly doing that. And my heart is in the right place.
Okay, let's talk about the matriculation case, okay?
Sure.
Yeah, so recently, PMX made an announcement during the National Training Week.
Yes.
Something that I would say most Malaysians I was very happy to hear of. He mentioned that all 10A SPM scorers will be accepted into the matriculation program, right? So as people already know, this matriculation program started in 1999 initially to help out the Bumi Putra people who are
underprivileged.
Started out by Najib during that time. 2005, there was a quota implemented which stated that 90% Bumis and 10% non-Bumis will be the intake. So as of from then until now, there's an average of about 30,000 students that are being taken in every year.
Correct.
So of course, the citizens were happy to hear Anwar's statement. It made a lot of people happy. But then the next couple of days, then people start to realize that is
so backfire.
Yes, did he bite off more than he can chew?
Because I have a little bit of experience on this, because education is closer to my heart, right? My mom's a teacher, was teaching before as well. This is where it sounds good, but it's horrible when it comes to implementation. Let me just put it into practice, what this means. You're right, about 30,000 spots every year. Prime Minister announces, everyone will get 10 A's regardless of race and religion, and everyone's like, yes. And then immediately after, people forget the fact, however, the quota will be the same, 90-10. So effectively, it's not a Malay issue, 90% is still the same. So among the 10% is where the 10 A's will come from. Let me tell you what this means. Number one, there are more Chinese and Indians who get 10 A's than the 10% spot. That's one. Number two, this is the biggest worrying part. That's why I'm saying this will particularly affect underprivileged Indians first, the most, and underprivileged Chinese. Let me tell you why. Among that 10% already, I told you it's not enough, right? For everyone who get 10 A's to get in, because there are more who get 10 A's. Above and beyond that, let's say, because not everyone who get 10 A's will want to enter matriculation. Some will fly abroad, some will take different courses. Okay. Above and beyond that, back then among the 10%, there are Indians and Chinese who come from poor socio-economic backgrounds, who cannot afford to send their children to private schools, international schools, tuition centers. However, they are really smart, hardworking. They get 8 A's instead of 10 A's.
Yeah.
Right? They get 8 A's, but these are remarkably talented people. They come from underprivileged families. They are really good in terms of leadership, extracurricular activities. Above and beyond that, they deserve it. They deserve it. But now, this person, you don't get 10 A's, say bye-bye. Because now this kid who come from a rich family, who gets 10 A's from a private international school or go to many different private tuition centers, will be prioritized, because now it's not about your socioeconomic background. It is not about merit. Stop saying it's about merit. Merit is about a wholesome assessment. Who will be affected? The ones who are affected the most are the underprivileged Chinese, Indian students who work their asses off despite coming from a poor family, right? Needing to work 2 or 3 different jobs despite still studying, barely having access to electricity and water, needing to work to ensure that they can provide food on the table, cannot go to the best schools, and now you are depriving these underprivileged students while everyone is clapping to it. I mean, seriously, man. I mean, on this matter, when I saw it, I'm like, initially I thought what the government
you also thought initially it could be a good thing.
Yeah, because I thought initially maybe what the government will do is to reassess the quota system to move to a needs-based system. That means even underprivileged Malay students, I don't care, you Malay, you Chinese, Indian, Iban, Kadazan, you'll be helped. But no, it didn't move. It was the same 90-10 with an additional criteria where 10As immediately are in. What about those who are from lower socioeconomic backgrounds who are Chinese and Indians? So that's why I see some people trying to make, the Malays will be affected. No, 90% is still there. Forget that issue for a while. This is among the 10% quota. So I get really worried about this issue. And now you can already see, even those in government are panicking. Different statements, contradictory statements. Oh, don't worry, we have enough spots. Oh no, we'll create more spots. How are you going to magically create more spots?
I saw just a couple of days ago, there were 100,000 applicants.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you will see many people getting pissed off because they then you realize what is promised in public, what actually happens very different. You know why I also know this? Because when I was a minister and I was in cabinet, we debated this issue heatedly. I mean, it was a very heated issue.
What was the...
Because at that point in time, it was the exact same thing. There were some quarters who said, let's just announce everyone who get 10As will be in. I disagree. I said, because if you do that while keeping...
Who announced that? Sorry.
It's cabinet privilege, so I'll stop there.
Okay.
But the 90-10 was still there. So I said, if you do this, in the end, you are underprivileging the Chinese and Indians who come from underprivileged families. So it sounds great to announce in public, but in actuality, it's not good. Right? So then there was an actual plan to allocate more resources, so therefore a fiscal injection into Ministry of Education, so that existing matriculation centres will build more additional blocks, because a matriculation is not a normal school. It's like a residential school. You sleep there, right? You eat there, you study there. Because it's meant to help the underprivileged so that they can focus on their studies, and they're even given a monthly allowance or a yearly allowance, right? So the allocation must be big. So in the end, we agreed, okay, let's try to ensure that in the end, we increase the number of spots which can be awarded or given through more fiscal injection. But today, it's just we will keep everything 90-10. However, all 10As can go in.
Okay, so what is your prediction in 2025, where it's the due date of what PMX sits?
You have a lot of people who will be angry. Because I've seen it before. It will be...
Got you.
You will have a lot of underprivileged Chinese and Indians who deserve to be in, who needs it more than ever because they need the financial support, they need the residential schooling system, to really catch up before they enter universities, who will be left out.
Okay. I think this is well known. A lot of Malay people, they think that PH or DAP has always been a pro non-bumi party. Do you agree with that? Is there any truth to it? And why do you think they have that sort of belief?
I mean, to me, in the end, if you just want to play emotions, sentiments around race and religion without coming up with concrete public policy solutions, you are doing a great disservice to the country. That's why you don't see me playing these 3R issues. Even for example, this matriculation issue, which could be a 3R issue, if I wanted to make it a 3R issue, it is so easy. But I'm talking about policies based on stats and data which have been published. Right? So to me, in the end, yes, there may be racial elements around it, but the solution must be one which is based on data and numbers. I'll show one other example, right? An issue which will come up very soon in Parliament. I call it Akta Rampas Rumah, which is actually the Urban Renewal Act. What is Akta Rampas Rumah? At the moment, if you are a property developer, you have billions, hundreds of millions with you, and you want to take over this really old, dilapidated apartment or PPR flats, the flats you want to take over, you need to get the approval of 100% of the residents. You need to negotiate with them, you need to offer them. Okay.
Yeah.
So now the government wants to reduce that. No, you don't need to get the permission of the residents anymore. You reduce that. You get 80% kau team is enough. The 20% doesn't matter. Okay? And I call that Akta Rampas Rumah because who are the ones affected? These are underprivileged, lower middle income, to B40 family members who have stayed in the area, and these are urban areas, right? Will have their houses taken away from them, despite the fact they disagree. I mean, why you want to protect the property developers? Let the property developers negotiate. Why is the government giving a competitive advantage? What more? Mind you, these people are living in urban areas. You are effectively gentrifying Malaysia, pushing the poor out, regardless of race and religion, out of urban centres where they have the best schools, infrastructure, job opportunities, pushing them out. That's not fair, right? So, again, if I wanted to make it a racial issue, I can just say, who are the poor ones living in urban areas? These are predominantly Malays, right? But they're not just Malays. You know who they are? Also Indians, right? Who have inherited this PPR flat from one generation to another. And you know what? Oh, in the end, never mind. They'll just be compensated based on market value. Let's take a PPR flat in Gombak. The market value now is 300,000 ringgit. Oh, happy, 300,000 ringgit. Can you find a property in Gombak which is worth 300,000 ringgit? Hell no. In the end, the person will still be kicked out. So, to me on this is to me is always a policy issue. What builds a country will be good policies. What collapses a country are bad policies. So, my answer to that, if I want to deal with PH members and leaders, I fight them on policies. And I've told them I disagree on many parts. I don't just disagree, I give suggestions. For example, on the matriculation issue, MUDA has come up with our solution. How do we transition from that process? Urban Renewal Act or this Akta Rampas Rumah. I will also come up with our suggestions on what we can do to make it better. Even on the citizenship issues, many other issues. To me, I want to look at it from a public policy lens instead purely from a racial and religious lens.
This really looks like a blatant disservice to me, to the people. Do you think it's likely that this policy will go through?
It will be tabled in the next parliamentary sitting. And I think if it is tabled with its current version, sir, I'm telling you, this will lead to poor, underprivileged families, regardless of race and religion, being kicked out from urban centres of Malaysia. And you know what's worse? Are you already seeing a lot of traffic jam in KL? This will make it worse because now all the 3-4 story flats will be 30-40 stories flat without proper infrastructure, proper roads, public transportation. Oh my God. I'm telling you, we will be even more jammed up. And for what? To put more money into the hands of the few. I mean, to me, there is a way out. There's a way. Okay, when I was reading it, government said, oh no, we're going to follow Singapore. I mean, I love using Singapore as a reference point. You know what Malaysia has which Singapore doesn't? Land, my friend. Land. There are so many other places for you to build. Right? In Singapore, their finite land is so small, you have to do it. And Singapore has great public transportation. Right? You see the kind of traffic in Klang Valley in Singapore? No. In Malaysia, we love our cars. Oh, let's subsidize more EV. Oh, EV get free parking. If EV doesn't have to pay tax. Even, EVs which are worth bloody 300, 400,000 ringgit, their taxes are lower than a Honda City. Is that fair? Of course not. So please stop comparing. Oh, this good part, okay, we compare to Singapore. All the bad parts, we forget.
Okay, so I mean, for someone really not informed myself so the EV car push, right? The big push for EV car is just a money play by the government. So okay, this is why again, as a policymaker, I want to be fair. Should Malaysia transition to EV cars? Yes. However, where is the problem in Malaysia? Do you know EV cars in Malaysia, we disallow the affordable EVs to come in? So the EV cars which are being brought in are cars which are above 100,000 ringgit. Above 100,000 ringgit. These are not the 40, 50,000s. Again, if it is above 100,000 ringgit for a car, it can only be accessible by upper middle income earners. That's the data points. Okay? That's first point to make. Second point to make is, what are the subsidies which are given to EV in comparison to ICE, internal combustion engine, ICEs, the Honda Cities of the world, right? A lot. Now government say they want to give free parking to EV cars. I don't know how that's going to help public transportation and congestion. And then at the same time, all the taxes, import tax, duty, etc., like they get a lot of exemptions. So for example, even if you drive, the huge BMW 5/7 series, but it's EV, which is worth close to 500,000 ringgit. Wow, the amount of subsidies you get is unbelievable in comparison to Honda Cities. So I'm not against. So I think government, for example, where they can subsidize more charging points, no problem, right? However, what I think the government should do is to help the middle class and low middle income earners. Yeah.
Right? So am I against EVs? No. But why are you subsidizing the most expensive EVs in Malaysia while you disallow access to the affordable EVs? Where are the BYDs, the Build Your Dreams, which are above 100,000 ringgit? The 50,000, 60,000, it exists. It's not that it doesn't exist yet. It is a policy issue. So my criticism is a policy criticism.
I think there's so little light on the cheaper EV cars, right, that people didn't even realize that there would be much more affordable EV cars.
But government disallows. I'm telling you, government disallows their entrance. The government say, we'll do it later. I suspect it's because of the automobile lobbying in Malaysia, because we have Proton, Prodro and others. So they don't want for there to be competition. But you have to pick, you have to pick a side, right? On the one hand, you want EVs. You want to throw billions of ringgit into subsidizing EVs. But in the end, we'll only subsidize the rich. That's even worse. It's either you don't do it or you do it, right? You can't do the worst of both options.
Well said. Yeah. Can we do one more?
Sure. Can you just text the next meeting and say that I'll be slightly late because it's just 10 minutes away.
Okay. So.
It's water, right?
Coffee, bro. Do you take coffee in the morning?
I take a lot of coffee, but I've been trained now to not drink coffee above 3 o'clock. And then whenever I do my race, every 30 minutes you have to take the gel, etc. And mine have caffeine. So I want to ensure that I get pure caffeine, but my body is not normalized. Right? Very small amount.
Okay. Yeah.
Caffeine is a legal performance enhancing drug.
Yeah, but
say that.
But I feel like it's such a strong drug, man. To some people, it's really, really, really sensitive. Okay, let's talk about justice was served for Zulfarhan recently today, and then there was a big controversy because the Court of Appeal brought back the death penalty, particularly for this case. 6 of the bullies were sentenced to death. Initially, it was, if I'm not mistaken, 18-year sentence in prison.
Correct.
Then the last court session, they announced a death penalty for 6 of them. I didn't read in detail, but then I saw yesterday Suhakam came up and also they were against the death penalty and they requested for the death penalty to not be appointed on them. A little summary on the whole Zulfarhan case, right? People that don't know, Zulfarhan was a Navy cadet. He was in his early 20s that was studying in UPNM and he lived in the school.
UPNM is just like walking distance from my military college. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize
it's
that.
This place is very close to my heart.
So he was studying in the college there and 20 of his schoolmates were involved in this case. They were involved in the bullying, but apparently 6 of them only were more heavily involved. What happened was he was dragged to this place and in the middle of the night, literally in the middle of the night, it was said like 1 to 3 a.m. That was the first day, and the next day again, the same sort of torturing happened from in the middle of the night.
Steam iron all over his body.
Steam iron,
it's torture.
Belts. It's not only torture.
Getting beaten up.
It's brutal torture. So
even to his private parts, steam iron. Can you imagine? All parts of his body.
Who are these people, bro? I'm reading this stuff things. So I'm like, who are these type of students? Like, where are the teachers also? Are they having holiday break? Or even if you're having holiday break, isn't there like any staffs around or whatever? So what happened was a couple of days later only, one of the schoolmates brought him to Bangi Hospital. He told the
clinic.
Sorry, clinic. Yeah. He told the doctor that it was an accidental bomb explosion, right? Okay, which happened in their school. So what was weird is the whole body was covered in burnt marks and was severely beaten. Yeah. But the face was completely untouched, right? So that's already a red flag, But the medical officer, I guess, didn't say anything or what. He didn't think anything suspicious of it. So went back to the school, and then a couple of days later, it was so bad that one of his buddies wanted to bring him to the hospital again, and he died just upon reaching, from what I've read. So that's the really tragic case. And then this happened in 2017, and then now we're fast forward to 2024. I think in 2019 the sentence was given, which was the 18-year sentence in prison. So fast forward to today. Death sentence was just appointed yesterday. What are your thoughts on the death sentence and this whole case?
I just want to start off first. When I was in cabinet, we had a whole discussion about death sentence. Okay, and it was a very long and serious conversation about death sentence. Do we want to create a judicial system in which focuses too much on retribution, which removes the element of compassion, or do we want to try find a middle ground? And that discussion was very emotional as well. Because keep in mind, while you want a system to be highly compassionate, you must also remember that we owe a moral, emotional duty to the victims' memories and also those who are closely associated to the victims, family members, friends, etc., who live until today. So then what we agreed upon was a middle ground. What was that middle ground? We will remove mandatory death sentences and therefore return the power to the hands of judges. What does that mean? Because today in Malaysia, even if you are caught having drugs on you after a specific amount, even if the judge realizes that you are merely a drug mule, you're not a drug kingpin, you are just a mule, right? You will immediately get the death sentence.
What about for users?
Users,
isn't there also if you have a certain amount, also there is a death sentence?
Correct. So once you have it, even if you're a user, as long as it exceeds a specific amount, death sentence. Even though the judge, after looking at the case, realizes that you're merely a drug mule, you are a low-ranking person in the whole organization. At the same time, there are many things. The judge cannot say, I'll give you 20, 30 years. The judge will have to give you a death sentence. So on that, it may be unjust and unfair, because in reality, the death sentence should be reserved to the worst, vile of offenders. Right? So then this whole debate took place. What is that middle ground? So the middle ground in the end is to return the power to the hands of the judges, so that judges will go through all the cases. They know in and out. This is not a mere parliamentary debate. So on this matter, it's really tough for me as a policymaker to answer as well. Because, why do I say it's tough? At the same time, I want our justice system to be highly compassionate and more rehabilitative. I'm always a believer in rehabilitating someone. However, at the same time, as I mentioned, I must also be fair to the memories of those who have been murdered, and at the same time, those who live on beyond that murder. Yes. Those who may be raped, or the family members, children who are all badly affected by that traumatic event. So I think the middle ground, which in the end, we then in Cabinet saw, was to remove mandatory death sentence and to return the power to the judges, so that in the end, the death sentence will be reserved to the most vile and worst of crimes. And that's the middle ground, which was discussed. So what do I do in this? I want to take myself out of this, to be very frank and honest, because if you hear my opinion, it's a very warped opinion, especially after I read. I followed this case, and it's not easy. It is traumatic. What more? Because UPNM was walking. I'm from the Royal Military College. Every day we have to go exercise, and we exercise by running at UPNM.
You have friends over there also?
Of course, a lot of my. Usually, after you graduate from RMC, you go to UPNM. You go to that exact university, because I'm from Military College. University is in UPNM. We train there. We run there. We play rugby, swimming, everything there. So it's...
Sorry, which years were you there?
I was there in 2017, 2018. 2017.
2007.
2007, 2008.
2017.
Sorry.
Damn.
2007, 2008.
Okay.
Form 4, Form 5. So to me, in the end, the middle ground, which I think government did, and until today, after changes in many government, is to find that middle ground. So that's that. But I want to share just one more thing on this issue. I think this is more of a systemic issue. People only look at the six of them, right? But you rightfully pointed out, the doctor at the clinic should have realized. Or for an example, there was a surat layang shared, right? A surat layang shared saying that please save this guy. There are people who really want to help him, but they were really scared. Why are they scared to help a friend who was about to be murdered, who were being tortured? But they were scared, and they are scared for. There must be legitimate reasons why they're scared.
For their own lives.
Yeah, because if this could happen to him, it could happen to anyone else. And even after giving that surat layang, the authorities in the university didn't take action. Can you imagine? And this is not like accidentally beating someone up and the person dies. It happened for subsequent days. He was hidden from the eyes of the authority.
His phone was taken away.
Correct. At least the lecturers, they will to some extent realize. So it is a systemic issue, right? And it's being normalized. If I were to share my personal views on this, it would be a lot more warped. Because, when I was in the Royal Military College, my batchmate, one of them passed away. My junior, another one of them passed away. My junior, another one of them passed away for different reasons. Yeah. Falling off a second floor, suicide, bullying. So
bullying also.
Yeah. So it's if I were to. So this is something which is very close to my heart. So to me, you are in no way a macho. You are in no way a strong military figure if you beat someone up to the pulp by using bloody... where is your humanity when you use a steam iron? Not once, so many times at the private parts. How are you? This is. I see people defending. I mean, this is common practice in the military. What in the world? Which military? You want to be like?
There's people that say that.
Yes, and because it's a macho military. It's not. It's not. Hey, I come from a military family as well, and I detest this. I detest it to the core. It's just not right. So to me, people only look at the 6 of them. I think we need to systematically correct the system, not just the 6 of them. Because the fact that the others were scared, students were scared, authorities didn't respond in ways which they should, right? Shows that there's a systemic injustice in the system. So, I mean, really on this issue, before it gets worse, this hazing culture, bullying culture, not just in RMC, UPNM. Actually, RMC now, I think it has changed a lot. I mean, to the credit of RMC, when some problem happened, it changed a lot. I can't speak on behalf of UPNM, I don't know. But it also happens in other boarding schools, right?
Of course.
Stop it. So I saw some people were saying, okay, no lah, I mean, punching, kicking is okay lah, right? Punching, kicking is okay, just not this far. To those who say that, it starts with punching and kicking, and it ends with a steam iron at the private parts of people. Do not normalize bullying. This is not military, people say, even the strongest militaries in the world don't do this. Stop giving these excuses lah. Ridiculous. Even the strongest militaries in the world don't do this. I mean, if it's about, you need to run 10 laps, you do push-ups, you do sit-ups, okay, right? Yeah. That's what you're supposed to do when you're in a military college or a school. But I've never, ever been trained or heard of even the best militaries in the world putting a steam iron in the private parts of people. It's just wrong. Categorically wrong.
Well said, YB. This also reminds a little bit about the Esha case, when she went to the police station. I don't know whether you have time, if you
just very quickly lah.
Yeah, so the Esha case was a similar case. She was everyone knows she was cyberbullied. The day before she passed away, showed up at the police station, said, please, I really need help. If you don't help me out, literally said those words, I will kill myself, suicide, right? And the next morning she did, in fact, kill herself. The police apparently did not even look into the case, did not search her phone, or I don't know what happened. What do you know what happened at the station?
So this is another case where there is a systemic issue. That's why people only look at who are the ones who give the comments. It's not just that. For you to even think, ponder or consider to commit suicide, it is you are being placed under so much pressure, stress, mental torture at that very moment of time, and often it is prolonged. And you rightfully pointed out, after trying to reach out for help, when help doesn't come, that's where it's compounded to specific actions being done, often suicide. So to me, I mean, there are many, many other things, like the case which we just talked about, Zulfarhan, on this. Some is mental torture, some is physical torture, right? Both kind of torture should be abhorred and condemned. Above and beyond that, let's not forget, right? I mean, that's why I even for myself, I'm very, very cognizant of the fact of what comments and criticisms I leave behind. And I'm very careful of this. Because I cannot imagine if my comment in the end will lead to someone hurting him or herself physically, right? So even on this matter, I hope justice will come. This 100 ringgit, is it?
Yeah, 100 ringgit fine.
I hope justice will win, and on this I have faith in the judiciary. I think there's a appellate process, because we need to send a clear message that bullying, physically and mentally, should not be tolerated and accepted.
Unfortunately, cyberbullying is one of the we are one of the highest, I think second in Asia for cyberbullying. Something crazy that people probably don't know. I went and checked out that girl's YouTube channel, the one that wore the pink blazer. She had 2 videos talking about stop cyberbullying. That is the craziest part of it. 2 videos talking about.
I'm going to start looking that up. I didn't know.
Yeah, I'm something also. I don't know whether I'll put this part in. Actually, Esha, right? You remember at the temple, the Batu Caves temple, that she was the activist that she also led her sort of her followers to that guy's comments and get him to apologize. Or I don't know, man. I also felt like there's also some form of cyberbullying. I just think that this, whatever it is, this is just bad lah. Any form of cyberbullying is just bad lah. Yeah. So let's wrap up Okay. You want to say anything else? Okay. Yeah. All right, guys. We've reached the end of this episode. Unfortunately, YB has to go. There's plenty of more other topics that I would love to talk about and discuss with YB. It's been super insightful, educational. I was a bit nervous before I started, but he's such a bro that I just felt super comfortable immediately.
Thank you. I think the Roku helps as well.
Shout out Vika Wolf. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But I think I'm the only one taking. You didn't even makan. I was eating. I was munching on it non-stop.
I was listening.
Yeah, I did. It's very crunchy. Not too spicy as well. My stomach can take the spiciest of.
Yeah, Vika will be happy to hear that. Yeah. Guys, Syed Saddiq's book is out, Berdiri Tegak, Berjalan Tegak, sorry. Yeah, but honestly, I got so much more respect for you after speaking to you. And keep on doing what you're doing, bro, because there's not many other people that will dare to and is willing to do what you do. Yeah.
Thank you. They said it's an absolute honor to serve. And my wish and my dream is to see a Malaysia in which upholds multiracialism, meritocracy, institutional change in which could be locked in, a Malaysia in which every single kid, regardless of race, religion and socioeconomic status, can share the same opportunity with hard work and willpower.
So I got questions that say that, will you be running for the next election? I'm sure that's a no-brainer question.
We'll see.
Yeah. Also, I see all the haters saying that, lost badly last election, all those. And I'm thinking like, bro, Syed's young, man. I believe you're here for the long run, dude. And
Correct.
You've got so much more that there's not been done yet.
Yeah.
So much more in you. Alright, guys, thank you for everyone that's been listening. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave your thoughts in the comment sections. What you thought about this particular episode. If you want to see Syed Saddiq again on the podcast, please let me know. And we will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much, bro.
To my homies, I'm missing my oldies, my brothers, my cronies. We all went to court, but before only courts that we knew were the ones where we were shooting three, selling Kobe. To a legend, rest in peace to the old me, rest in peace to my brothers, rest in peace to my whole team. The oldest, I'm missing my shawty.